So we just released a product, the No-Gi De La Riva Guard. It's a DVD, online instructional. Probably by the time you watch this video, it's also a module within the Grapple Arts Master app. We opened the floor to questions for people who had bought it and got some questions back. And one of the questions that you're going to field was?
Which techniques do you start with and how do you layer them on top of one another to, maximize the learning process?
Okay. Right. So if you're just starting out, or you got somebody who's just starting out,
yep,
wanting to learn a new way to amp up their open guard using the De La Riva Guard, what would you suggest they start with?
Yeah, so the instructional is actually laid out in kind of the manner that I think is best, which is that we want to initially learn, first of all, the concepts, which is, I'm not going to get into all of them right now, but one of the most important ones for people playing open guard is just recognizing that you need to win the hand fight and get to your preferred guard in a manner where you can be offensive. So just drilling the hand fighting sequences and the entries into whichever, and I think that the basic No-Gi De La Riva is the one to start with. The other guards are basically
answers to problems.
Answers to problems, exactly. So the DMX answers a problem, reverse De La Riva answers a problem, the Mantis answers a problem. So as long as you get to the original No-Gi De La Riva guard, that's the first set of techniques you want to get good at, just getting there. And then the next one is the Kazushi, right? So the off-balancing process, because if I just hang out here and assume that you're going to fall over or let me submit you, I'm probably going to look foolish. So the basic Kazushis involve lever access here, shifting somebody's base, and then connecting to a secondary grip so that you can control both levers to the hip. And that also introduces the sort of the main idea when it comes to sweeping, which is if I control both of the levers to your hip, I'm almost always going to sweep you. If I don't, I'm kind of relying a little bit on a lack of balance or skill on your part for me to successfully sweep you. So that's kind of the progression. Is first start with that, then the Kazushi, and then the next.
And there are only 3 or 4 maybe Kazushis.
They're very basic, and you need to learn them. And then I think we just put out another video about how do you get good at a technique. You need to situationally spar the Kazushi. So
and I can vouch for that because I had not done much open guard, No-Gi De La Riva.
Yeah,
I had done lots of open guard. I hadn't done much No-Gi De La Riva. I went and drilled the Kazushi with a couple of white belts, and then I tried it on a black belt. It's just it's so different. I was sweeping them all over the place just with the Kazushi.
Yeah.
Not even moving on to the next set of techniques.
Yeah.
Just kind of answer what to do when the Kazushi doesn't know.
Well, and that's I don't want to sprain my shoulder, sprain my shoulder, pat myself on the back here. But I think we mentioned in the instructional that generally the Kazushi is not going to work as a method of sweeping good people. In fact, it actually kind of does. Right, that's been some feedback that we've received, both from you, from other people. Like, man, you just use the Kazushi and people do get swept quite a bit. Initially, yes, of course, initially. So once you've got training partners who are conversant with the material, they're not going to get swept by the Kazushi. So then you need to get into the actual techniques and attacks. But here now we have kind of a fork in the road, which is, do you want to spend a lot of time on the guard retention stuff? Or do you want to start getting into the attacks? And this is where I don't want to say there's a right or wrong way, because if I've got the guard established and I'm using a proper Kazushi, you shouldn't be able to do any guard passing on me. You should be responding to the act of me off balancing you, and I should be able to sweep you. If you don't have an established guard retention protocol, I would say before you start getting into the specific attacks, get good at the guard retention, get good at dealing with the leg drag, get good at dealing with the knee cut, the basic passes that people are going to give you, because that will pay dividends all over the place whether you're playing this specific guard or not.
So for example, let's say that they don't have an established guard pass prevention protocol.
Right.
So we're here, and as they're drilling this, they're finding that people are knee cutting them all the time.
Exactly. So, shelling up, creating a knee shield, framing, getting into base, hip escaping would be...
So that would be a technique.
That would be a technique that you'd be working on. And again, that's just dealing with a knee cut.
Sure.
You're going to use that whatever kind of guard you use. So I think that's, if people don't have... And I think that's another thing that, unfortunately, I don't think is as commonly taught as it should be, which is just the act of guard retention and having a layered system of guard retention rather than just hoping that your guard holds up because you're so awesome.
Yeah. How far am I into that knee cut? How far am I into that?
Exactly. There's a step, every step along the way there's a response that should be offered if you have a good guard retention system. If you don't, Again, you're just kind of relying on the fact that you're going to win every range battle, you're going to win the engagement phase, you're going to get to a guard, you're going to attack.
Nice work. That doesn't happen to you?
Oddly not. No, it doesn't. So yeah, I think that the guard retention is a hugely important skill if you don't already have it. If you already have it, you probably don't need to spend a ton of time on that pathway. You can just move straight on to just going through, okay, I'm going to off-balance someone, they're going to post their hand, I'm going to move into this kind of sweep, I'm going to move into that kind of sweep.
Okay. Would you characterize the major types of attacks? Assuming you've got your off-balancing under control, assuming you've got your guard retention under control, would you care to characterize the major attacks that you can go into from the no-gi de la Hiva?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, not an extensive list of every variation, but...
So just like purely from the no-gi, without getting into the mantis or any of this other kind of stuff, the main sort of sweep attack is the shotgun sweep, or the shotgun mechanism, where preferably I've gained a hand grip and I will temporarily place my foot on the hip, shoot my leg through to here, turn and buckle you, and then I can like escape and take your back, or you might fall over, in which case I'll end up on top. And then there are variations on how to get to like a similar threat if I don't manage to buckle your knee.
Right, so that's essentially moving behind you.
Moving behind you, yeah, exactly. As far as submissions, the Kyotera style de la Hiva ankle lock is one that I spam. Like I've got a video on my YouTube channel, like showing me using this in a match over and over again. This is very spam worthy. It's very difficult to deal with, and this either becomes
spam worthy in the sense that you can do it again and again and again and again. If I don't know the answers,
there's no instinctive answer to it. This is like there are some things where there's an instinctive answer. Like if I grab your throat, this is a fairly instinctive answer for that. That's probably going to be correct. Once I wrap myself around your leg in this fashion, and I've still got this this far butterfly hook, there's no real simple way to deal with the fact that I'm putting some pressure into your ankle. You're going to have to fall down to relieve the pressure. So even if it doesn't become a submission, which it sometimes won't, like there are details to the submission that they take a lot of time to get good at. But and then there's defenses that people can employ where they will sacrifice the sweep to not be submitted. But that's what I mean when I say it's spam worthy. It's like I can go for it because of the instant double threat. You either sit down to avoid being submitted, or you will be submitted. And once you sit down, I've got such control over you that I can just follow up by sweeping you.
Sure. And then I guess the other style of attack is based off of me trying to
post your hands.
Post your hands, you can see the triangle.
Yeah, in particular that happens when somebody like recognizes that they're in a little bit of trouble and they base down on this knee. Yeah, exactly. So now we've got like guillotines and shooting the triangles and things like that from here.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, well I think that gives people a general sense of how the attacks are layered and how the material is structured.
Yeah, and I think like this, hopefully it's obvious, this shouldn't just apply to this, right? Like if you're trying to get good at single leg X guard, I would say that the process is the same. Right? If you're trying to get good at closed guard, the process is the same. You got to find a way to get there. You've got to use a kazushi to off-balance your opponent, and then you've got a chain of attacks that you need to perform.
Yeah. And the basic kazushi you do in the single leg X guard will work as a sweep.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're Marcelo Garcia, it'll work against everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a process that applies to everything. Closed guard, butterfly guard. There isn't a guard it doesn't apply to.
No. It's oddly enough, it's a formula that's very successful.